What's up? Who joined? Man. It is a nice chair. Thank you. Thank you. What's happening, buddies? Sticker ain't sticking very well. What y'all been up to? I didn't have much planned for tonight, so I figured we'd talk a little bit of gear. See what everyone's using these days. Can you hear me okay? Chew Poppy Muñano. Hey, I did download CapCut on here. I forgot about that. Put on my helmet, because it's going to be a bumpy ride. You have $4,000 in unpaid invoices. Well, what are the invoices for? That's the question. I think I've got like $30,000 in credit card debt, so pay it back one day, you know? All right. Apparently my laptop's not going to connect to the internet very well. Oh, gotcha. I don't know, what can you do? Go rip your work back out of the wall, I guess. That's what I'd do. I do a lot of plumbing with my brother, so if someone doesn't pay, well, their plumbing has to get done again. I've got $30,000 in credit card debt. Don't know how to pronounce that, but hello. Hey, listen, everything we do is legit. But you know, if you don't pay, you just can't let people get away with that stuff. I'm gonna wait for a few more people to get in here and I'm gonna start going over my gear setup. It's not what I was going for. Google. Hey Justin, what's up, buddy? I thought about inviting you. I'll start this stream over, don't make me. But I'll do it. just tan. Yeah, so I actually owned a shop for quite some time with my brother, and we did a lot. I owned a mechanic shop before I started working at Chrysler, and we sold the shop and everything because it was really hard to keep up with, especially just two guys, and we couldn't seem to hire anybody worth a damn. Sorry. But we got screwed every time we hired somebody, and we used to do a lot of work for some local car dealers, and those guys would scam the heck out of us. And we had a local car dealership, multi-million-dollar dealership too, and they owed us a bunch of money on some tickets. They picked up their cars and were like, yeah, we'll send you a check, and then they just never sent the check. They said, you fix the cars, we appreciate it, but we don't want to pay you that much. And then they just stopped coming to us. And that happened on a few occasions, so. Yeah, Justin, when you get home, hit me up, man. Get in here together. We'll talk about some interesting topics. My God, I write too much stuff down. Don't feel too bad. 2A got me too, that rapscallion. I'm just kidding. I bought one of 2A's patches a long time ago. And then Justin's awesome. He sent me one, so. Dang, Ricky. I had a lot of videos planned today. I'm gonna have to do tomorrow, but after church. But I had a lot of videos planned today, and it just didn't work out that well. So it's all good. Got a lot of my gear situated. Ricky came. You're a funny guy. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to be controversial tonight. The Omega 36. Okay. One, congratulations on that, because it makes you feel all tickled inside when you get your first can. I did shoot 22 through mine, and even though they told me not to, they're like, oh, it's gonna foul it out. So what I did was I shot 22 through my can. I checked the can. There's a little bit of carbon buildup after a couple hundred rounds, nothing crazy. And then I just hooked it up to my AR-10 with some full power loads, and there you go. Cleaned it right out. Not to mention I put 100 rounds through it pretty rapid fire, so it got nice and toasty. I've actually shot every one of my guns with that can. That's what I really like about it, honestly. I'm gonna let you know right now, your coating is gonna burn off and get scratched up and dinged up. I might go grab my can in just a second. Can't show certain things on live streams, but I'm sure I can show the can. But my can is beat to crap, but it's also got a couple thousand rounds of all kinds of bullets through it. Fuck you. Yeah, sometimes I yell at inanimate objects. But yeah, that I actually reinstalled the ASR, the 350 Legend. I'm really looking forward to getting one of those one day. But I took off the direct thread mount and decided to give ASR a try again. So we'll see how that works out. I really liked the ASR, it just kept coming loose on me, so I stuck a little pick in there and opened up them springs a little bit so they get some more tension. We'll see what happens. Plus I want to get a muzzle brake for the 300 Blackout, 5.56 and all that. I just want to see how they do with a silencer co muzzle brake, so I can take off everyone at the indoor shooting range. Any of you guys into games? Like video games? I thought about doing some video game live streams, really Call of Duty, because that's the only one I play. Oh, this is the Amazon special. Actually, most of my gear is the Amazon special, to be honest with you. The helmet, I think is probably one of the coolest $20 helmets you can get. And yeah, got that on Amazon, really just so I can have something to hold nods or a camera. And I don't remember the actual brand of this one, but it's fully adjustable. Here, I'll stand up real quick if I can. Oh, did like 30 minutes on the stair stepper. This, whatever brand this is, some no name off Amazon. I think it was like 40 or 50 bucks. It holds 6 mags. It's got extra space over here if you want to add extra mag pouches. But you don't have to do that if you don't want to. You can fit some mags in it, like so, as long as they're not too big. It fits down in there pretty well, and that's definitely not a 40 rounder, because that wouldn't be right. That's one of them 28 rounders. 300 Blackout. In case you're wondering too, a lot of people with the 300 Blackout, I've read that they have issues. This is a 5.45 mag. It doesn't say 300 Blackout anywhere, but I've had no issues with 300 Blackout shooting 220s, 150s, 125s, 110s. They work in every AR mag I got. But yeah, so if you want to see a rig like this, it actually works really well. Amazon. I got a couple other setups I wanted to show you guys too, because I don't always wear this. I've got a plate carrier, also the Amazon special, but I think that one was like 70 or 80 bucks. If you saw my last live, it was the one I was wearing then. Of course, you can't go wrong with your $5 Harbor Freight Karambit. Fun fact, no joke, this is a $7 knife. If you see right there, I tapped myself a little too rough and cut myself to the tendon. Good times, right? Here, I will actually, let me take this one off real quick. One thing I like about this is it does come off pretty quick. I'll show you. So, it's got adjustable shoulder straps and a belt to go around the side. And with those two pouches, and it's got another pouch back here, I can comfortably fit 10 mags. So, this is another Amazon special. I wear this one when I'm trying to do a fashion trend, you know. Have a mani pack. SOG. I think this was like 20 or 30 bucks. Each one of these holds 3 mags. And I've actually put my AR-9 and very short AR-15s in here with no problems. And this one's actually my favorite. This one's held up really well. I think I got this one for like 50 or 60 bucks. And what I really like about it is it's quick detach. Quick attach too. It's not going to be made of Kevlar or nothing like that from Spartan Armor, although I'd really like to get one from them. I am going to buy a set of their plates specifically for this, but the best part is the patches that it comes with. Just saying. I'll be adding my own little patch up there soon, hopefully. But when you're talking about the tension mag holders, I will say these ones don't do great. These ones are specific for 9mm. It's another thing I like about this. You can add some clips, plus you got the Velcro. The carrier didn't come with that. The carrier just came the way it is. These were like 20 bucks maybe. Again, Amazon special. I'm not that guy that buys everything off Amazon and swears by it, because I've bought a lot of garbage on Amazon over the years. But this seems to hold up pretty well. These do better with thicker mags, like if you're going to use, I don't know, MP5 mags or something like that. Or Scorpion mags, that's the name of them, good grief. Use something like that, it's going to do a lot better. But yeah. And of course, these clip in, little 3-mag carrier. It'll fit in there. It's got MOLLE underneath on all that Velcro side, so that's pretty cool. Let's see. Yeah, I actually got a really nice battle belt. I'll show you in just a sec here. I don't know what I did with it. But I got these on Amazon as well. They're like 15 bucks a piece. These are tension mag carriers. These things hold everything from, here's a good, right here. Sometimes when I wear my battle belt, I'll wear 2 Glock mags. Now, hopefully they don't fall out, but these are 2 fully loaded Glock mags. I'm not squeezing them. And it retains them pretty well. Haven't really had a problem with those. And I don't have any AR mags out here right now. They're in my other carrier. But this will carry AR-15 mags. It'll carry AR-10 mags. I've even put some shotgun mags in it, but I'm not gonna go in my bedroom because the baby's sleeping. So, but yeah, the Sega 12 10-round mags and 12-round mags, it'll hold them. It'll expand very well. Got these on Amazon for, they're anywhere between $13 to $15 a piece. They clamp right on your battle belt. They have a little adjustable piece that goes in these notches depending on the size of your belt. But I'm sure if I really wanted to, I could attach some up here, but I'd have a mag in my face. And then they got this little locking tab. So, bam, bam. That ain't going nowhere. Where's that going? Nowhere. Let me grab my battle belt so I can show you guys. Give me about 10 seconds. There we go. Okay. I brought some AR-10 mags too. That's the battle belt. Nothing special. Is another one that I think it was about 40 bucks, and I've had this one for maybe a year or two now. I've beaten the snot out of it. So, quick detach. Going nowhere. Again, these are designed for AR-15 mags. I carry this one in the car a lot with me. Go right around the back seat. But these are AR-10 mags, 308, 6.5, whichever. And they fit in there just fine. And they retain pretty well. So, there you go. Comes off easy when you want it to, you know? So, not knocking anybody out there. Yo, Jesus Christ, what's up? So not knocking anybody out there, because believe me, there's a lot of really nice expensive gear out there I want to get, but you gotta do what you can with what you have. So this is part of my setup. You know, you go to some of these big box stores, if you're looking for big totes or anything like that, you go to some of these big box stores, they're like $200. You can get stuff like this at Harbor Freight. These are their Apache lineup. And these are like 60 bucks. Super solid, so there is some things you can go the cheaper route, you know? Yeah, the Apache cases are real nice. I really want to get one of their big gun cases. Just can't seem to do it right now. Can't pull the trigger on that one yet. It's not been a priority. Here's a Sega mag right here. Here's a bigger one, just so I can show you that they do work. AR-15 mag carrier. Ooh, reminds me of my drunken college days, you know what I'm saying? But they do fit. Obviously that ain't going nowhere. Ouch. And that is a 12 gauge mag. So these are worth the money. If you got 15 bucks, get your couple, because those things are awesome. Yeah, you know, I thought the same thing. I didn't want a big rifle case to take up space, but they can serve multiple purposes, obviously just for toting around guns. I guess it depends where you live and who you know. As for me, if I'm gonna bring my guns anywhere, my range is the woods behind my house, but if I'm gonna bring my guns anywhere, I'd prefer them to be in a case, but they don't really have to. In my state, we have full open carry, whatever you want, rifles, pistols, it don't matter, shotguns. And if you read the law, I mean, there's no such thing as suspicion for you having a gun in your car. They can't just pull you over because they've seen a gun in there. I carry my AR in my front seat all day, so. I'm in South Carolina. But I've been pulled over plenty of times with all kinds of crazy stuff in the car. And I remember when I first moved here from New York, yeah, I used to live in New York, but when I first moved here from there, I got pulled over with a 38 in the glove box, and I was scared to death, and I put my hands out the window, and I was like, I just want to let you know there's a gun in the car. And he goes, oh, I don't care about none of that, I just want your license and registration. So I remember one of my first Glock builds, I built an all golden polished Glock, and got pulled over, an older state trooper, and I had those clear ETS mags hanging out the bottom. It was my ghetto blaster, but I was scared to death. And he's like, oh no, hand it over, let me check it out. And he looked at it and he was like, oh, that's really cool. Handed it back, told me have a good day. So, not all my stories have gone that way, but the cops down here are pretty chill for the most part. I'll load up some mags while I'm at it. If any of you got a chance to go watch my Plastic Fantastic video, check it out. Trying to say it without breaking YouTube rules. The squirted AR9. Yeah. Go check it out. It made it through about, if you didn't get a chance to watch it, I'll just tell you, it made it through about 380 rounds before the barrel melted out the end of the gun, so it is what it is. But hey, made it a lot further than I thought. I did some good bump firing too, so. Yeah, no joke. Now, I haven't held anybody at gunpoint, although I had a neighbor that actually just recently got out of jail, but he kept just stealing stuff from people's properties. I had 2 gas cans go missing, and he was pretty bold. And I knew where he lived and everything, and he was the only one that would have seen it. He always had random gas cans. So I had marked that particular gas can, and my wife and I threw a rifle over our shoulders and just walked down there and walked right on his porch, took our gas can back, and never got robbed again. It's weird how that works. Yeah, you know, it's funny. Where do you live? 4-wheel drive slides. Where you live? Because if you live anywhere in the South, that's one thing I noticed is the cops down here are a whole different breed. When I was in New York, you know, my dad was a federal officer for 21 years. Oh yeah, Alabama, there you go. But my dad was a federal officer for 21 years. And when I lived in New York, we had someone call the cops for us being out in the woods shooting pistols. And they lied, of course. But we had a bunch of state troopers pull up on us, guns drawn and everything. And even when he explained he was an officer, they had no care in the world, so. Not till they saw that badge. And then they sat there till we left, even though we were doing nothing wrong, so. East side of Cleveland. You're a city folk? Yeah, I'm from Albany, New York, so I didn't live down in the city. But, hey, Albany ain't much better, I promise you that. But yep, I am loading up all the empty mags again because I think I'm gonna start doing some more pistol shooting. I don't really do a lot of pistol shooting. I got into the AR9s, and 9mm is still cheap and I love shooting them. And I really like building ARs, so I've been doing that for a while. But I need to get better with the handgun. Oh, okay. What do you mean by light or heavy ammo? I can tell you what I use. So G2C, that's 9mm, I believe. I would use lightweight ammo. I've tried a bunch of different types of personal defense ammo, and let me know what you guys use, but I'll actually show you. Now, as far as target shooting, I use 115 grain, whatever I can get my hands on, as long as it runs, I don't care. And when I'm running suppressed and I want to run really quiet, I don't have any on me, but I usually shoot 147 grain, 150, 165, something like that. Okay, let's see. So this is, I just unloaded 6 rounds out of the mag that's in my carry gun. And the first 5 rounds, that's Norma 108 grain hollow points. So those do really well. And then that is a 147 grain hollow point. Don't ask me why my magazine's loaded this way. It's what I had lying around. And we call this the ghetto loadout. But this is the ammo of choice, and I wish you could feel the difference. These are, it's a solid fluted projectile. This is from Norma. This is a 65 grain fluted 9mm. And I did a chrono test with this ammo out of a 4-inch Glock 17, and it's going about 1,750 feet per second. And it's absolutely gnarly. We were testing some really hot 124 grain hollow points. They were going about 1250, the 124 grains were. And this thing was zipping right through the block, and it was reacting like a rifle round. It was just crazy. So Christmas tree mags, yeah. All different ornaments. You never know what you're gonna get. Yeah, I'm still trying around with some different self-defense ammo, but instead of just doing ballistics gel test, I've been, I call them chicken ballistics, or I'll go get a set of ribs or a ham or something like that, because it's gonna react a lot better, you know, to what you plan on defending yourself from. And I'll try it on that. And I've tried a few different hollow points, and I was actually really disappointed in one of my videos with 300 blackout. I was doing 220 grain, 300 blackout subsonic. They were hollow points, and they were just poking little holes through this chicken, and the 110 grains absolutely blew it apart. And some of the 9mm hollow points, the 124s, the 147s, it's almost like they didn't have enough time to open up. But these ones right here, these 65 grain Norma, absolutely devastated anything I hit it with. So now they're gonna penetrate further. There's no doubt about that. You're not gonna, I couldn't catch this in 20 inches of ballistic gel. It just wasn't happening. But they left a nasty wound path, and I'll probably do another video of that in the future, just a test comparison. Some of these 108 grain, these are like a compressed metallic jacketed bullet. They look really weird. They look like something that got mushed together. And these are almost like a compressed copper. They're very interesting. But yeah, those flutes are supposed to hydrostatically push any liquids out of the way, or whatever they call it, and it reacts very much like a hollow point. Yeah, I thought about that. So after the hurricane came through here, we had no power for about 8 or 9 days. And I thought about asking them if we can get some of the expired meat, not so I could eat it, but just to do some ballistics tests and all that. But we just had so much going on, and I got so behind with everything else because of the power being out. And it was a crazy couple of weeks when that hurricane came through. So honestly, I didn't really have enough time to make any videos. And that's why some of you guys didn't see from me for a little while. Yeah, I'm going to have to try some of that. I always hear about, what is it, spear gold dot or something like that. That's what the police use. I want to try some of that too. I think that's one thing that sold me on these is you don't have to worry about expansion for it to do its job. and I know with a lot of hollow points, doesn't matter what brand, they've had issues shooting, you know, too much clothing, or if they hit something beforehand, you go through drywall, then they just act like an FMJ. Whereas these being fluted, they're just gonna push everything to the side, and that's one thing I liked about it. And I've always been a velocity guy, velocity over mass, you know? Meow. Well, to that I say rough, rough, rough. Sig V Crown, eh? Yeah, I like Sig a lot. I like their ammo. I like their red dots. I don't know if I like their guns because I've only shot 1 or 2 of them, and I've heard some stories, so. But I digress. But yeah. There's some of you guys running. You guys running fancy $600 setups, or you running the Amazon specials as well? Oh man, I can get some of this stuff off my table. Let's see if I could change some of the straps. This stuff, that's another thing too. If you're gonna carry a bunch of ammo, that's a winning point for this stuff, is this mag is half loaded and it barely feels like I'm holding anything. My nipples? I don't know. Maybe. Just maybe. They're going so fast, I'm gonna scroll back a little. All right, so you're carrying a Tacticon plate carrier, some level 3 plates. Good, good. Triple mag, one in the front. Yep, so I like a simple setup like that, especially for a truck gun or something like that. So I see a lot of people, and I used to be that guy that wanted to carry 600 rounds in the car with me, but what do I need 600 rounds in the car with me for, you know? And do I really want to carry it all around? So like when I carry my AR-9 as a truck gun, I wear this, you know, got 4, usually keep my 40s in there, and then I keep another 40 in the gun. It's plenty. Compact 9. All right, that's what's up. Yeah, you know, you don't always need a plate carrier. I like it. To each their own. I wear a chest rig all the time. There's lots of times I won't wear this plate carrier. It just depends what I'm doing. I do wear this typically when I'm training out in the woods. I like the extra weight. But one thing I will say when I'm training is I don't train with my pistol on my side usually. I still train with my pistol concealed. So if I'm gonna do any draws or anything like that, which I haven't made a lot of videos about that because I suck at it, if I'm being real, but I'm gonna start. But I want it to be realistic to what I'm doing throughout the day. So typically throughout the day, I'm wearing a holster inside the waistband, eye appendix carry up front there. So I try to train that way when I'm out in the woods. Nip slip, eh? I get lucky, buddy. Keep praying. You know, I've been looking at those old Chinese chest rigs. I'm currently in the process of building. You said you're running a Type 56 Chinese chest rig. I'm looking for those Russian rigs that have like the mags all set up on the sides and the front's kind of bare. I'm looking to build an AR RPK, something with a 22 or a 24-inch heavy barrel. And kind of got that M16 vibe, but just with a real long heavy barrel and big bipod on the front. And yeah, something that I could put a binary in and just rain them down range, you know? I really want to get a super safety, but they're not available right now. Nobody has them. If you know anybody, send me a link. Yeah, that's my biggest thing. If for some reason I'm in a rush to get out of my Jeep, I don't want to have to find a way to throw on a battle belt, throw on my chest rig, load up 600 rounds of ammo. I want something simple like this, because in a real world scenario, if you know anything about real world scenarios, if I go through 200 rounds of ammo relatively quick, then I'm in a really bad situation. It's just the way I look at it. Maybe I should have been more prepared, I don't know. Now I will say sometimes I'll carry a setup like this, and then I'll carry a little bag full of a few extra mags or something, or an extra case of ammo. Nothing crazy, you know? And if I really, and that's just because sometimes after work I'll go shooting, and when I used to own my own shop, I can go shooting in the back all the time. I'd go back there on a lunch break and just empty a couple hundred rounds because I wanted to. Yeah, I also carry a couple spare mags for my pistol. I usually carry, all of my spares look like this. I got the +2 base plate on a factory Glock mag, and one of them actually carries 20 rounds, but the other two carry 19. So I'll carry one of the 19 rounders plus one in the chamber, and then I'll have the spare 20 rounder and a spare 19 rounder. That's enough to do what I needed to do, if I ever needed it to do anything. Hey, thank you, Maddie. You know, I just left the gym. My muscles are still twitching a little bit. I do dry fire. I don't have one of them fancy things that go on my AR or anything, or a laser beam that goes on the Glock. But I do a lot of dry fire, and when the fam's not home, I practice clearing my house because I am a giant grown child, and that's what I like to do. So, hey, you know what? I feel like I'm not the only one in this chat that's done that before. You get home, it's a cool, dark night. All the lights are off, you know? That's the scenario playing in the head. I get inside, and I clear all my corners. You know, it's good practice, honestly. Yeah, that's what I'm going for with the AR RPK. I want to see if I can get a picture of it on the laptop for you, kind of like my dream build for an AR. 24-inch barrel, and of course, just to be that guy, it's got to be a threaded barrel because I want to suppress it, because that thing's going to be freaking huge, this big. But 24-inch heavy barrel. I'm probably going to end up getting the barrel from Bear Creek Arsenal because they have a fantastic deal. It's like $60 for a 24-inch barrel. How do you go wrong with that? You don't. And they got 416R stainless steel, which is probably one of the best barrels you can get. And they've got spiral fluted and all that. And thank you. You know, Maddie, you're making me blush, Maddie. You better stop, okay? So yeah, nothing special. Probably a PSA upper receiver, BCA barrel, BCA handguard, because I really like their handguard system, and just a basic PSA bolt. I've got a bunch of spare parts lying around, so I could probably throw that thing together for a couple $100 and just throw it on my M16 clone lower. And in my mind, just have a big fat like M60 bipod, and either the binary or an FRT or a super safe. I think that thing will be awesome. Let's see if I could look it up. I'm not as fancy as 2A Ninja yet, so I haven't found a way to do a live stream and do videos on the side. Yeah, come on. Full screen it for me, baby. So Klein Machining makes this one right here. It's a pretty dope setup. And that's an M60 bipod that's actually machined to fit on the barrel. They're about $1,200, and I've got so many spare parts, I just don't see a need to spend an extra $1,200 right now. So there's that. Yeah, I agree. You got to have the cosplay with everything, buddy. But yeah, no, that's kind of what I was setting that up, is not as funny because everyone's like, oh, so you got to have a good scope on it because it's going to be a precision rifle, 24-inch heavy barrel. That's not really what I'm building it for. I'm building it so I can lob obscene amounts of ammo downrange and not blow my gun up and have a really good time. And out of a 24-inch barrel, I'll most likely be shooting 55 grain, just target stuff. And I don't know who just gave me all the love, but appreciate it. 24-inch barrel, you're probably going to be hitting 32 to 3,300 feet per second with a 55 grain load. So that's some good stuff right there. It'd really probably be real good with 62. Heck yeah. You know what? I actually, I do plan on getting a lever gun, probably a 45-70 or something, and I'm definitely going to get a cowboy hat, poncho, the whole setup, because when in Rome, you know what I mean? I don't dry fire regularly, but I do it every now and again. I get home on a dark night, clear my home, you know, make sure there's no bad guys inside, and then afterwards, if I'm still home alone, do some dry fire practice. I like checking my corners and knowing every inch of the house, and dry firing also comes in handy, you know. Dry fire is also great for new shooters. I've been shooting a very long time, so I just don't do it as much, and I have an obscene amount of 22 long rifle and 9mm lying around, so I really do need to get out and get more time on the pistol though, so I'll start making some more videos of that. No, you're not allowed to show guns on live or I'll get kicked. Probably get a hard strike. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Making me blush, buddy. Appreciate that. You know, you're a good person. Mantis Blackbeard. Is that the is that setup you put in the AR that like shoot it resets your trigger and everything? Yes, when the fam's not home, you know, because I don't. Oops, what if I have an accidental discharge or something? Don't want none of them to be here, right? That I agree with. The way I look at CQB is the same way I look at, and like, you ever heard the old statement, I'd rather be a gardener in a war, or sorry, a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. Kind of the way I look at CQB, because I've been watching a lot of those videos over in Gaza, and that's some scary stuff. Those guys are just walking upstairs and machine gun fire just starts raining out of the walls. It's crazy. Hey now, other than some of the build quality as far as assembly from Bear Creek Arsenal, and of course their BC9 that I've had absolutely no luck with at this point, I think a lot of the products they make individually are good products. As far as, like I just stated, out the door, sometimes they have some quality control problems. And I think what it comes down to is they just started making so much stuff and selling so much stuff, but they just can't spend as much individual time with every product. They probably got the same amount of people. They need to blow up that side of their production as far as quality control goes. I don't think they have a torque wrench anywhere in the building, if I'm being honest. So I carry a Glock 17. I actually bought a PSA dagger a while back. By a while back, I mean 2 years ago, with all intentions of that being my new carry gun. And my wife seen it and said, oh, that's really cute. And I never saw it again. So, flashbangs and frags. Yeah, you know, I've got these really cool 12-gauge tripwire perimeter device, sound mitigation, whatever the heck they're called. And I'm sure you could turn them into something, you know? So that's always been my thing too. You ever watch one of those movies and you see people in a house and they get circled, or you see like SWAT teams kick in and they're, oh, what do I do? Whatever. And then I kind of had this crazy idea. I saw that video a few months back, maybe last year, of the guy in DC that just filled his house up with gas, and then SWAT goes to kick the door in, and it's crazy. And I was like, wow, that guy watched movies. I watched him too. I was there, so. Appreciate that, Maddie, you know? Yeah, I'm trying out some different things. I'm trying to do shorter videos and like a lot of different build setups. I've got ADD, so I can't keep anything the way it is for more than a month before I gotta switch it up. And also a lot of other channels, I wanted to just be unique in my own way. I see a lot of people that make these like 1 hour long videos, which there's nothing wrong with if you can talk about that for an hour. But the truth is, if you get rid of all the mush, most videos shouldn't be more than 10 minutes. Unless you've just got that much to talk about and that much to show. I guess it just depends, you know? Depends what you're doing. But yeah, no, I'm glad you like it. I don't have any experience with the 135 grain ammo, so I'm sure it'll be great. Anything that's plus P and hollow point is most likely going to get the job done. In my opinion, hollow points are hollow points. I know there's some that aren't going to perform as well when it comes to denim and things like that, but to each their own. If you didn't see earlier, if you weren't here, I'm going to go ahead and just keep a couple of these out. Here's a couple of the different self-defense rounds I like to use. You got Remington 124 grain or 147 grain, one of the two. Hollow point. This is my ghetto load because this is one of the mags I carry in my Glock. And then up next is the Norma 108 grain monolithic hollow point. Those are going around 1,200-ish feet per second. I'm more of a velocity guy myself. I like things that go fast. Velocity is always going to produce a better wound channel than heavy bullets. You know, everyone talks about the whole 9 versus 45 and whatever. You know, pistols put holes through people. That's the way I see it. But really fast pistol rounds like this one, this is a night and day difference. This is what I use. This is the 100, or sorry, not even 100. This is a 65 grain bullet. So you're looking at about half the weight of a traditional 9mm. And this is coming out the end of my Glock 17 at over 1,700 feet per second. And that's a gnarly, gnarly round. So that's what I like to use. Also, it's a fluted projectile. So instead of having to consider the hollow point and what it's going through, this has these flutes, and they take anything liquid and they push it sideways. I've shot ballistics gel with that, and it's gnarly. But as long as you've got a good platform and you're getting good shot placement, I think the 135 or the 124 would be just fine. Do I work for the... You didn't finish the sentence. I do work though, so I hope that helps you. A cone of fire. Yeah, I've seen that a couple of times. A couple of people in here now using 135 grain. But yeah, I think it'll do just fine. That spear gold dot, you know, that's still, everyone talks good about that. Yeah, no, if I got a cowboy hat, it's gonna be a real one, bud. It's probably gonna be made in Texas or something. I don't work for the Army. I am joining the National Guard at the end of the year once my youngest turns 1. So there's that. And part of that, I'm trying to be in the best shape of my life before I go, because I don't want to go there and have it suck terribly. I got a 20-inch AR 5.56 and I love that thing. I've always been a go big or go home guy, so that's why with the AR RPK I really wanted to go with a 24-inch. I've always been absurd like that, and I have to keep up to who I am, you know? Do absurd things. You know, that's actually a really good idea if I got up early enough, just to dry fire. If you get used to it every day, then I guess it's just simplified. It's something you're used to, so. Hey, there you go. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, I would definitely be interested in getting that Blackbeard set up. Yeah, totally play some laser tag with that thing. That'd be awesome. See, it's not just about the extra feet per second. It also is about heat dissipation too, right? So that longer barrel is gonna allow you more sustained fire. But you're not wrong. You're not gaining that much with the extra 4 inches, but hey, you are gaining something. 14.3. Yeah, that's not bad. When it comes to 5.56, the lowest I would go is about 12 inches. I had an 11.5, and I ended up getting rid of that barrel, getting into 300 blackout and doing something different. Now 300 blackout's a different story, but 5.56, I would say 12 to 14 is about the perfect margin for an SBR or a pistol setup. If you want a fire-breathing dragon, there's nothing wrong with 10-inch or 7.5-inch, but you're going to lose a lot of velocity. I think the 7.5-inch, you're getting about the same velocity out of a 55 grain as like a 35 grain 5.7. So technically it's still cheaper and faster than a 5.7, but the concussion is going to rupture your eardrums. I'm also in the market for a lot. I keep telling my wife that I'm not going to buy any more guns, and then I do, and then I tell her that's the last one, and then it's not, so. Who's hiring illegal immigrants? Yeah, they be complaining like that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to try that. Those 135s. Heck yeah. What's up, Bearson? If you sent me a cowboy hat, I would wear the heck out of that thing. Maddie, that's what's up. First off, an 8-inch 308, I'm kind of jealous. I'd say that's actually, I mean, I was gonna say that's too short, but I think 8 inches is perfect. Do I have combat experience? No, I guess. Not like military and dodging machine gun fire or anything. So, you can show guns on live, but you can't handle them. I could have a gun wall behind me if I wanted to and be showing off my guns, but I can't touch them. And if I bump into them, I'm sure the overlords are gonna immediately kick me. Yeah, there you go, Axiom. So, touching the firearms is the problem. You could make videos about them. You could make videos to go live with them in the background, but you can't touch them while visible to the camera. I see what you did there. The problem is, even if we have loopholes and even if we know the difference, most of the people that are looking at this content, I think they don't know the difference. So if I held up the slide to my Glock, I'm still holding up a gun in their eyes. So there's that. You guys want to get spicy and talk politics? Or is that too controversial? Oh, I'm getting tired. So what's up with all the fires going on right now? I mean, LA burnt to the ground. Now, in my home state of South Carolina, Myrtle Beach has been on fire. They've got fires in the upstate. I don't know what the heck's going on. I know this wind has been absolutely crazy, and I felt like my house is gonna blow over, because you can feel it shake pretty good every morning. Where's my boy Justin at? I see what you did there. Yeah, I do the same thing. So I actually got to a point where I had way too many uppers and not enough lowers. So I had to start trading off somewhere and meeting in the middle, but I still got more uppers than lowers. I got uppers lying around everywhere. So when I want to shoot that particular one, I'll just swap it out with one of my other uppers, or other lowers, sorry. More ammo. That's that good stuff right there. I gotta start using up some of this 9 because I got about 12 cases of this stuff under the bed. I agree. Honestly, I think although Trump is doing better, in my opinion, it's a day late and a dollar short. Not saying that he can't do a good job, but I think the damage has been done, you know? Dang it, Joshua, that was rude. First off, I'm gonna be a pencil pusher, all right? I'm going in for CBRN. If you don't know what that is, it's chemical, nuclear, biological, and radiological. And if I die, I die. If you treat every day like it's your last, you know, don't expect tomorrow. It makes you appreciate life just a little bit more. We all have a little tism. Hey now. Interesting. I put a few too many in there. That's on me, that's my bad. Justin, worst. Where you at, buddy? You know what? I'm gonna load those ones up last because these mags kind of suck. I'm not gonna lie. Actually, I'm gonna load one of these up. That's gonna be one of my next videos. So I'm gonna take, because people have been absolutely blowing me up, telling me what junk these are. The Amend 2, I'll agree with you, very flimsy, very weak polymer. But this stuff right here, the ETS mags, I'm gonna load this up, and I'm gonna load up the MN2, and I'm gonna go make some videos tomorrow. I'm gonna leave these things out in the sun for a while, just to get them nice and toasty. And we're gonna see how they function. Also, these two mags right here have been loaded for 2 years. The ammo is starting to get a little corroded. And I'm gonna shoot those too, because I hear nothing but garbage from people. So we're gonna see how they do. How's that sound? Hey, but you know what? The price of gas started going down, so there's that. That's a win. I can't afford eggs, but hey, who even needs eggs, right? Not me. I like eggs, but whatever. Starts hurting your fingers after a while. Any of you guys play Call of Duty? Where did I get all the ammo? I bought it, of course. I'm kind of an ammo hoarder. And what I do, every time I go to the store, I end up... Pepper box. Yeah, I'm lost. I'll have to look that up. But every time I go to the store, I used to be that guy that was just like, buy a box or two. And before I knew it, I had about 7,000 rounds of 9mm lying around. That's why I'm making so many 9mm videos these days, because I've got way more 9mm than anything else. I really want to shoot more 300 blackout, but that stuff is not as cheap as one would hope. It's not terrible. It's about the same price as 5.56. But I really enjoy shooting the subsonic stuff. My favorite handgun. I like Glock. I like simplicity. And I'm sure everyone's gonna call me a BB, a basic B, you know? But I carry a Glock 17. I like Glock 17, I like Glock 19. I like the PSA Dagger. I think they made a really good clone for about the price that a Glock should be. But hey, Glock made a good name for themselves, and I've never had an issue with mine. Oh man. Yeah, exactly. I have probably put about 3,000 or 4,000 rounds through my Glock 17, and I think I've properly cleaned it twice maybe. And that one of them, and I mean like actually disassembling, brush through the barrel and all that. So yeah, I like M&P too. I had a 2.0 years ago, and I really liked that thing. It felt real good in my hand. It was nice and girthy, perfect fit, you know. It had the interchangeable back straps. It had all metal mags, so I think it's a solid piece. And you know what? If you look at Garand Thumb, I watched a video he did where he froze a bunch of guns in ice and whatever. And I think that was the only one that didn't mess up on him. I haven't tried Canik yet. I have a bunch of rifles actually. I can't show you any, but if you go look at some of my videos, I actually just had a table full yesterday. I want to say I probably got about 10 or 15 in total, something like that. I'm getting a little collection up there. AR-10s, AR-15s. I'll be making a Mosin video soon, because gotta bring that thing back, right? You talking about the recoil spring in my Glock 17? That thing is butter. All right. Let's see. pretty strong to me, you know? Oh no, I'm just setting up to do another shooting video tomorrow. I've got an AR-9 I built with a 7.5-inch barrel, and I really want to get some range time on it. And I'm gonna be doing some quick draw from the holster because I don't do enough pistol videos. Got to make some room under the bed for a different type of ammo, you know? So I got to use some first. Let's see here. Put this laptop away for now. Yep. That's how you gotta live your life, guys. Now, if you want to see a lot of ammo, you guys want to see what I carry in my waistband with? Oh yeah. That is just an off-the-shelf leather holster that I bought at some random gun store one day. And I've been using that for like a year and a half now. Right inside the waistband. And it fits every pistol I own, so universal holster, who would have guessed, right? Oh, scratched my table. Now that. About 1,200 rounds of 9mm in there right now. That's just one case. I cannot, if I showed you my gun, hey, I don't have any guns showing right now. But yeah, if I showed you any guns on live, they would definitely ban me. So, but ammo and mags are fine. None of this is fine. I don't know. I didn't make the rules, I just follow them, okay? Hey, listen, I'm not gay, but $20 is $20, you feel me? Where you chatting from? Oh yeah, okay. Who was I talking to? Petey Poodoo. Where you from? I go to the shooting range called The Woods behind my house. There's about 1,000 acres back there, so as long as I can make a big enough clearing, because it's pretty overgrown throughout most of the year, then I can set up and shoot as far as I want. I could probably get like a nice 300-yard setup, but it's just briars everywhere, brush everywhere. Let me flex it like money. Good stuff right there. That is a good point. Exactly 1,200 rounds is exactly 1,200 rounds. Give me tips for a Desert Eagle. I own some at home. As in multiple Desert Eagles? Like multiple hand cannons? I mean, what tips do you want? I think you got the biggest tip of them all. if you got multiple Desert Eagles. What caliber? Probably like 44 and 50. I would really like to get a 50A absolute yeet cannon. Nice. 52. I'm sorry. I need more context. 52 Desert Eagles. Yeah. You ain't kidding. I mean, I've got all kinds of stuff. I think this stuff right here, I probably spent about 15 bucks a box. But this stuff right here, I went into Academy Sports and they had a deal. It ended up coming up to like $270 for 1,000 rounds. And you best believe I went into debt and used my credit card. That would have been stupid of me not to. I felt like, you know, I know the credit card's for emergency use, but I felt like in that particular moment, that was valid. It was a valid emergency, you know. My most expensive gun. Well, as far as the most expensive gun that I've purchased, I'd have to think on that one. Probably, I was gonna say my AR-10, but I got an AR-15 worth more than that. If you actually add up the optic and just everything I've got on it, I got a 300 blackout. Well, actually, as stupid as this sounds, I've got an AR-9 where just the pistol brace itself was like $300 because it's got a very short buffer tube setup. But the most expensive gun that I currently own would probably be my Mosin Nagant. I've got an old 1932 hex model, and that thing is pretty rare. And I found it in a pawn shop for a stupid price, so I could, another reason to use a credit card, of course, because, I mean, I felt like that was a valid reason, if you want my opinion. I did not have a rocket launcher or a grenade launcher, but I did like a DIY fireworks launcher. I got a 2-inch tube, PVC tube, and I made it fit to the bottom of my M16 clone, and I was launching 2-inch firework mortars out of it. And it was really fun. And I only partially singed my arm hair that day, but I'd do it again. Yeah, you absolutely can't beat that for 10 bucks for a box of 50. It's kind of nice to actually see the price of ammo kind of get normalized again. They just need to normalize 5.56 or 7. I'm really hoping with the end of the Russian-Ukrainian war right around the corner, I'm hoping that is a thing and we can stop the whole embargo on Russian goods crap. Because I grew up in an era of $350 AKs and a box of 7.62 by 39 for $5. And the world we live in is crazy. Ever since COVID. I'd do it again. Dang right I would. I'd skip a meal for that kind of deal. Only got to skip lunch a couple times. Count me in. Yeah. Dude, it's absolutely absurd. I think that's actually, so when I was thinking about getting into the intermediate 30 caliber option, 7.62 by 39 came on my radar because I had lots. I used to have a PAP M92 with a 10-inch barrel back in the day, and if it tells you how long ago I got rid of that thing, When I sold that gun, I sold it for like $400. Mind you, I bought it for like $350. So, yeah, that was a while back. And I absolutely regret getting rid of that gun. I had a bunch of the 40 round steel Korean mags. That thing was a fire-breathing dragon. It was way better than the damn Draco. Absolutely loved it. Yeah, should have never got rid of it. But, yeah, I was getting ammo really cheap back then. That's back when you could buy an entire, what was it, like a 1,000 round case of ammo for like $220, $250 or something like that. It's just crazy. Yeah, I got a couple shotguns. I got a 1948 Remington. It's actually called a Remington 48. It was my grandfather's. He got it when he was roughly my age back in the 40s. Come on, you can do it. Last one. But yeah, it's an all original 1948 Remington. It's a long recoil action 16 gauge shotgun, and it kicks like an absolute mule. I used to have a Maverick 88 years ago, and I've had the Mossberg 500, all that. It's basically the same shotgun, just different safeties. I currently have a black Aces Tactical 12 gauge. It looks like a Remington 1100, but it takes Sega mags, and it's also got its own proprietary mag or something like that. It's pretty cool, but it doesn't cycle birdshot worth a damn. And I've got a JTS MK12, whatever the heck that thing is, and I really like that one. It's 9.5 pounds unloaded, kind of absurd, but it's a really cool shotgun. It's got an adjustable. Yeah, my grandfather did serve in World War II. He actually went to West Point. But yeah, that shotgun is absurdly heavy. I only got one video of that. I need to go, I'm gonna make a video soon about that. I've been trying to save up to get a bunch of birdshot because it's the one semi-auto 12 gauge I have that does cycle birdshot pretty well. And I want to do 1,000 rounds through that thing one day. I worked out so hard earlier that my muscles are starting to twitch right now. My legs are quivering. Don't judge me, I don't usually drink soda. But I needed something sweet. Okay. So I did have a KSG years ago. And you know, I know some people that buy guns and they'll just never get rid of them. If I don't shoot it or I don't like it, I see no reason to keep it. I'm not sentimental with that. The only guns I wouldn't get rid of are, I've got a couple heirloom guns. Catch you later, man. I've got a couple heirloom guns. Heirloom, whatever. And like my dad's got an old 41 Magnum Ruger Blackhawk, whatever it is. That thing is awesome. He's had it for a very long time. He's got a very old 1911. I would never get rid of that stuff. I'd never get rid of my grandfather's shotgun, the 16 gauge, even though I just don't shoot it and have no intentions on it. But there's certain guns that I've had that I'm like, that one kind of sucked. Not keeping that. So when the KSG first came out, I still lived in New York at the time. And I bought the KSG for like $1,200 because it was brand new, the double tube. Everyone wanted that gun, right? And I was young, so of course I immediately swiped the credit card because that was an absolute necessity. And if there's anything I'll say about the KSG, even using lightweight birdshot loads, it absolutely destroys your shoulder. And every single time I go to the range with that thing, I would have a red bruise from here to here for at least a week. So I ended up getting rid of that. And then I didn't shoot one for years and years, and I went to a skeet shooting thing where everyone brought a bunch of shotguns like a year or so ago, and somebody actually brought a KSG with the barrel extension, and it did okay shooting the skeet. It was really weird to get used to, and it had the same issue my KSG had. No matter what you shoot through it, high brass or low brass, when you rack the KSG, you have to rack it like you mean it, or it won't eject the shell out the bottom. And then you go to load it, and now you're in a full-blown jam, and it's completely out of commission. So it was a really, I couldn't justify that gun. But I put both tubes through that thing, just some basic like 1100 feet per second bird shot, and it absolutely destroyed my shoulder. I can shoot my semi-auto 12 gauges all day, not a problem. Yeah, see, that's the difference. So I've been building ARs and buying guns and selling guns for, shoot, 15 years now, close to it. So, which I've been back and forth between the South and New York most of my life. So I actually got my first gun as a birthday present or Christmas present, I don't remember. I've got two Mosin Nagants. The first one I got was a 1940s post-war model, and I mean, rough machined, it looks terrible, but hey, it still shoots and it's still fun, and I bastardized that one. I chopped the barrel down to 18 inches long, and I put it in an Archangel stock, and it's got detachable mags, and I was trying to put a scope on it. Thing's got no sights at all, so it's one of those really cool setups, you know? But again, I was like 18 when I did that. I didn't know much about guns. I just knew I wanted guns to be shorter. The other Mosin is still in the traditional wooden stock. Nothing crazy about it. So, and I like it that way. And that one's a freaking tack driver. Hey, there you go. But yeah, so especially in the South, you know, it's kind of customary for younger people to shoot, and I've always had more of a mature mindset. I was never one to like try to beat people up or show dominance, so I could be trusted more when I was younger. And yeah, when I was 16, that was the first gun I got. I got a Mosin Nagant, and that thing was to just get handed this freaking high-powered Russian 30-06, as they call it. That thing was crazy, and yeah, I used to be a little crazy with that. I remember it was like 6:30 in the morning, and we had something exciting planned, so I cracked open the kitchen window and aimed it out the back window with the muzzle just inside and popped a round off. Woke up the household. Yeah, I was a little nutty back then, but now I'm hard of hearing. Don't know why that would be, but hey. Oh, SD40, nice. Gorilla Pope. Interesting. Interesting name. All right. You said you live where again? Four-wheel drive? You live up in Ohio? Or no, that was, that might have been not a sponsor. Oh, you live in Alabama, right? Yeah, I've never been a super violent person, although I had to learn how to fight because I got bullied. But I've never been like the, you know, shooter kind. $20, hey. Just saying. Just saying. I've only been to Alabama like once or twice. I actually went there on a family reunion a couple years ago. And what's funny about that is not a single member of my family lives in Alabama. We just kind of picked that randomly. They just pick random states. Like this year, the family reunion this year, we're all going to Ohio. So. Let's let's keep loading. All right, apparently that one's missing something. Whatever. I've got a couple different ones. It's a factory Glock one, which works just fine. A day, that's what's up. I actually got my suppressor in like, I don't know, a week and a half, something like that. And what's crazy is I didn't go to get my suppressor because the times were coming back, or because they were coming back so fast. I just finally saved up enough and decided I wanted one. And there was a couple of people that went and got some like a week before me, and they still had to wait months and months after. But I got mine back in like a week and a half, and I bought the Omega 36M from Silencer Co. because I really wanted something that can suppress every gun in the house. And what I like about that suppressor is it's rated full auto. It's a 9mm can, 36 cal, but it's rated up to 338 LowProOperator mag, and it's rated for full auto. And I did 100 rounds rapid fire with that can out of my AR-10 in one of my previous videos, and I got that thing glowing, and it still works fine. It's still a great suppressor, but it's a little pricey. And the only thing I don't like about it is I really wanted to do like an SD setup, like MP5 SD, but with my AR-9, and I can't do it with that can because the can's just a little too wide for most handguards. So I'm gonna go get a few more cans. I might get the Omega 46M just because I do plan on getting a bigger bore gun like a 4570 in the future. Let's see, you said, what's the worst gun I own? That's an easy one. The worst, well, I'll give you the worst pistol I own. It is the Sky, SCCY, little 9mm pistol. I think it holds 10 rounds. It's a terrible gun. It's absolutely terrible. Now the one I got for my wife, and it's the CPX2, which comes with the safety, or maybe it's a CPX1, whichever. I didn't pay enough attention to really care. But it comes with a safety on the side, and just, it's so stupid. And the first time my wife shot it, it cut her thumb because of just the way the recoil and all that is. I shot it a couple times, it cut me in the same spot. So I actually ripped the safety off and got rid of the whole safety mechanism and smoothed out the little ridges where the safety was. And most of the time it wouldn't lock back on the last round, but what would happen is when you were shooting it, it would lock back mid-fire. So like I'd be 3 rounds in the mag and it would just randomly lock back. It was, and the trigger pull is god awful. That thing's got to have a 12-pound trigger pull. Absolutely terrible. I would not recommend that gun, especially for a first-time gun owner. I know it's easy as a first-time gun owner. You don't want to make a huge investment, and if you live in a communist state like New York, you have to purchase the handgun before you can even apply for the permit. Then you got to apply for the permit, and then you got to wait like 6 months for it to get approved. And you know, states like New York are so backwards. And then once you own the gun, that's it. You already bought the gun. It's used. So, and people get real excited when they buy a gun like that. They go to the range and they realize it's the worst experience they've ever had. It hurts to shoot, and that could give a first-time gun owner, I don't know, a form of PTSD. Like, they might never want to shoot again after that. It's like giving a young kid a 12-gauge shotgun for the first gun they'll ever shoot. It's just a bad idea. Wouldn't recommend it. Yes, but violence is not the way. There's diplomatic ways to handle things. And when diplomacy doesn't work, you know what I mean? Hello from South Carolina. Getting people from all over. I want to do more lives. I actually, it's one thing I was just talking about earlier. What I like about going live is actually getting to interact with you guys, because most of the time you watch my videos, or if you don't watch my videos, welcome. LowProOperator, it's the name of the channel. Go watch some of my videos. I hope you like them, and if you don't, well, you already watched them now. For any of you that do watch my videos, you know, it would be really cool if I could interact with you then, because I know a lot of people have questions. I've been doing this a very long time, but I forget that there's people from all over the country, and in some cases I get people from around the world that watch some of the stuff I do, and it's very foreign to them, very new to them. Harrisburg, PA. You know, I had an aunt that used to live in that area. She passed a few years back. Boring Gun Guy. Do you make some videos? I feel like I might have seen some. Possibly. Alrighty. We're only gonna fit 29 in that, huh? I carry a completely stock Glock 17 that I've been carrying for going on at least 3 years now. And yeah, I carry factory 17 round mags with the +2 base plates. I carry 3 of them. And that's my ammo of choice. It's a 65 grain fluted projectile. And out of my Glock 17, it's going about 1,750 feet a second. How about you? Got a few more mags to load it. I had one mag that I didn't get to fire last time. I loaded all of these up, about 500 rounds or so, on my last live, and I loaded them up so I can do a Plastic Fantastic Meltdown. Again, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. There's lots of cool bump firing and all that. It's a fully 3D printed upper receiver, and it's got a 5-inch 9mm BCA barrel in there, and yeah, the upper, lower, everything is just all polymer. It was a really cool thing. It made it through almost 400 rounds, and yeah, that's the only mag that didn't make it, but it's still loaded up, so we'll let it slide for today. I got a mixture of everything, so I've got ETS mags, I've got KCI mags, so you can tell they're KCI because they don't say Glock on the back. They look like Glock, they resemble Glock, but look at the difference. This is a Glock mag, this is a KCI mag. They look exactly the same. One says Glock. The 9mm is different. This one actually says Glock on it. But the KCI mag comes with factory Glock extensions. So that's cool. And Amend 2 mags, they're okay. They look cool. And I really wish I could show you my AR9 because it is worthy of seeing, I think. They look really cool, but some of them just don't perform as well as you would hope. But what you gonna get for a $10 Glock mag, you know? And then of course, the big sticks. Also, ETS. I really like ETS mags. I don't care what nobody says about them. Got some P mags in the house. I think that's actually the only P mag I own for Glock. I got that with the PSA dagger, so there's that. And then some OEM Glock mags as well, factory size mags. Who's smoking rocks? Sorry, let me zoom in. 40 cat. Got a Siley on my rifle. Okay. You know, I've actually heard a lot of good things about Siley. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. You know, I was on a live with Yukon, and then I started following him. Everything Yukon. Go check him out if you hadn't seen him already. But he's done some crazy torture tests on the Siley red dots, from microwaving them to freezing them, and I think it's an awesome optic. I got a bunch of SIGs myself. Due to what reel? Appendix carrying a 365. Are those the ones that'll give you a piercing all by themselves? Yeah, I know. SIG's coming out saying that there's absolutely no way it can happen, but my opinion on that is I've only shot 1 or 2 SIGs in my life, and they're meh. They're okay. They're nothing fancier than a Glock to me, so there was just no reason for me to change. But there is like a SIG 2.6 something, I don't know. It's a hammer fired gun, and I really thought about trying one of those out because SIG does make great hammer fired guns, but once they went over and made the 365, I guess a lot of mistakes were made when they changed the safety. So anyways, regardless of if they have problems or not, I'll probably never own one because it's just in my head that they're gonna discharge. I don't think AI is gonna eat you, but they might take over the world. I don't know. We'll wait. And if they do, they do, you know? Get right with Jesus, that's all I can say. Springfield Armory PCC. I might have seen it, but I wasn't paying attention maybe. I think I heard something about it. There's been a lot of cool PCCs coming out lately, honestly. And I'm a PCC guy. So in case you can't tell by the amount of 9mm and the amount of Glock mags, I also got a Colt mag set up, but I'm not going to go in my room and get that. I've got like a $50 Pro Mag Colt mag block, and it just pops right in to a standard AR lower. I got it off PSA's website for like 50 bucks, and it handled the abuse I've put it through so far. It did have last round bolt hold open, but I over inserted a mag. I was just in a rush and just bow, and I snapped it. But the mag still seats just fine, and the ejector's there, and it's doing the thing it needs to do. So I think it's a really cool setup. Yeah, Yukon is solid. I saw a couple of his videos before I went on live stream with him. I just didn't realize it was him, and I think we ended up going live for like 3 or 4 hours. We're from different sides of the country though, because he was live earlier, and it was already dark here, and it was still middle of the day for him. You know, and I'm all down for that, man. That's one thing I like about Siley and the reviews those guys do. That's really the first time I've seen it, is seeing the reviews that Yukon did on it. And I'm the same way. I am very, very rough on my gear. So when I tell you guys that I get something off Amazon and I'm actually representing it, something like this carrier for like 50, 60 bucks, it's because it's actually solid and does a good job. So, because I abuse my stuff. And I think that's one reason I still just stick with a factory Glock, is because I've had a lot of weapons, especially some of my BCAs that I have beat the snot out of, and they just could not withstand the test of time, the BC9 being one of them. A few thousand rounds and multiple broken parts later, and I've retired it. And I've had a few guns that way, but that's one reason I stick with my factory Glocks. I like Palmetto State Armory, regardless of what everyone said about them. I have not had a single issue with any of PSA's guns. I've been using them to build ARs for almost 15 years now. I really want to try out a Canic because everyone I hear that has one or tried one said that they're fantastic guns. I'm just if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of guy when it comes to my handguns. I just don't do as much handgun shooting. But again, I need to make more videos. I need to start working on my quick draws. I feel like I could have it down, but I carry all day, every day, sometimes at work. So, which I work on cars, it's a pain in the butt, so I gotta pop them off me every now and again. But, you know, anything you plan on carrying, you need to know how to use it, you know? Delayed 9mm. Should list. See, so that's my issue, right? Is I'm a big PCC guy. I've built a crap ton of them, but all of these companies are coming out with $1,000 and $1,200 9mm carbines and PCCs, and in my opinion, and I'll never tell you to spend your money where you want to spend it, but I think they're trying to take advantage of a bull market because they know that's what people are after. You know, especially my generation. I love submachine guns. I've always loved the nostalgic of them. I want an MP5 so bad, and I can go get an MP5 right now, but I'm not going to go get an MP5 because I don't think it's worth the money they're asking for it, in my opinion. But that's me, you know. If someone wants to bring one to the range, I'll shoot it all day. I think it's a phenomenal gun, so I'm not saying that. And I think a lot of these companies are making great guns. And I think the Vector's a great gun too. But I'm just not going to pay the price tag because now the Vector's a little different. It's some top of the line stuff and that has basically no recoil even when you're shooting a 45. I've shot a Vector personally and it surprised the heck out of me. I could sit there and shoot it one-handed and 45 ACP and that thing was solid. So but hey, you know, to each their own. I just feel like we're in a world where I can build a Palmetto State Armory AR for $500. Why would I spend $1,000, $1,100, $1,200 on an AR9? Or sorry, not an AR9, because I've got $400 AR9s in the other room right now that have thousands of rounds through them. Why would I spend over $1,000 or thousands of dollars on any 9mm carbine setup? It just doesn't make sense to me personally. But maybe I'm speaking out of boredom. I don't know. Yeah, you're not kidding. So I think one of my biggest flaws with ARs is because I can't leave them alone. I'd say that every single AR on my shelf right now is dug up around the castle nut because I have swapped the buffers on them. I mean, usually when I do a gun build, I'll buy an already complete lower from PSA because their deals are insane. Excuse me. Sometimes you can go on PSA's website and get a complete lower for $110. Trigger, everything's installed, ready to go, and they're solid. I've never had issues with them. And I mean, how do you mess up a lower, right? So I love that about that. I'll build the upper. I'll go buy a receiver set, go buy the barrel I want, torque it down myself, because after some of the experiences I had buying from certain companies like BCA, unfortunately, having handguards come loose while I was shooting at the range, I just decided I'm going to build my own stuff. So that's what I started to do. And if I have to say anything bad about the Glock 17, it's not the way it shoots. I mean, it's perfect, the sight, the way they line up. I think I was shooting at like 25 yards one day. We had a couple steel plates set up, and I was shooting. I've got a Taurus PT92, which is kind of like an M9 clone. I got my little pink Sky, whatever you want to call it, that garbage pistol, and I've got my little TX22, which I absolutely love. It's a great gun. But the Glock 17, I've gotten so accustomed to shooting it that even at 25 yards, I was just nailing steel over and over again. Now, sometimes I go on shooting events where I can't really film, and I have to respect people who don't want to be on camera or have their locations put on blast, so that's that. But I am going to start doing some of my own pistol videos. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like companies like Daniel Defense and all that, they make great products. But I was on a podcast with 2A Ninja and Silver and Black Entertainment, Justin Worst, and Citizen 2A Citizen the other day. We had this talk, and there's people that they've met and that I've heard about where they'd have 500 to 1,000 rounds through some of those really high-end rifles, and you had gas rings wearing out, and you know, just issue after issue, and then the company would say, oh yeah, that's normal, it's supposed to do that, and that's garbage. If I'm spending $3,000 or $4,000 on a rifle, that thing better give me a back massage after I wipe it down. So but you know, I think there's a lot of hype in those companies, and I think they make great cold forged barrels. But if you want my opinion, if you want to build a good budget gun that's going to last you a long time, you would get a basic gas system, or get like an Adams Arms piston system, something like that. Get yourself a receiver set from PSA, maybe just a complete lower, super cheap, $120, $150 for a good one. Get yourself a stripped upper, get yourself like a Daniel Defense barrel, a basic gas tube, or the Adams Arms piston setup, a real good handguard. I think you can still build a pretty phenomenal gun for $750 or less. Yeah, dude. I've actually broke my armorer's tool on some of PSA's castle nuts because I've used it on them so many times. I sheared some of the pins off of my armorer's tool trying to break those things free. I don't shoot as much 5.56 anymore, although I've been trying to stack up the ammo, but the way it's been lately, every time I pull the trigger, it's like $1, so that's how I felt when I made my AR-10 video a couple weeks ago. I was bump firing, I was doing a lot of rapid fire transitions and all that, and every time I pulled the trigger, I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I was counting dollars leaving my bank account because, you know, 308 is another one of those dollar a round guns, so. Yeah, no joke. I had a barrel nut the other day trying to do a build that messed with me, and I had my vise on my kitchen table, and I was really tweaking on my armorer's wrench, and it started to flex a little bit, and I started sweating a little bit because I knew one of two things was going to happen. Either that barrel nut was going to come loose, or I was going to slip and my fingers were going to get smashed on the table. So luckily it came loose though. Can't stop yawning. I am tired. A few more mags. I'll load up a few more mags and then I'll probably hop off. Justin never got a hold of me. To be fair, I never went and checked my phone though. Justin, if you're still here, buddy, just message. Ammo. So it depends on how much I'm getting. I like to buy ammo in bulk just because of how much cheaper it is that way. So like this Monarch 9mm right here. I don't know if they have an Academy Sports where you are, but we have Academy Sports down here, and they have these boxes of Monarch anywhere between $10 and $12 a box usually. And if you find the steel case or the aluminum case, that stuff is dirt cheap. Which in this case, it's all brass. I can't complain. It's all pretty consistent around that 1100 feet per second mark. And it's just training ammo. You know, I'm not going to use this stuff to defend myself, but unless I just don't have hollow points for some reason, unless it's the end of the world, I guess. But either way, I haven't had any hiccups with any of their ammo. And if you don't know already, I shoot a lot of 9mm. I've probably shot 1,000 rounds of 9mm just in the past 2 weeks. So it's what I do. And most of it has been either this Remington UMC or the Monarch 9mm. So PSA has really good deals, and if you email me, I can get you a really good deal at PSA. I can send you a link to ammo or whatever you want, really. And yes, it does help me, but I can get you, I could see if they've got any coupon codes available or anything like that and help you out. So feel free. But PSA, you have to buy bulk because they're going to charge you shipping. The thing I like about PSA, one, they're local to me. So PSA is based out of Columbia, South Carolina, which is only about an hour from me right now. I live in the upstate. They had some hiccups at first when they started producing ammo, but PSA single-handedly made other ammo manufacturers lower their price because of the price of 9mm. You can get right now, if you go on PSA's website, I don't have my other phone on me or else I'd pull it up, but if you go on PSA's website right now, stop yawning, damn it. This is what I get for pushing myself at the gym too hard earlier. If you go on PSA's website though, they have, I think they have a 1,000-round case of Winchester ammo. Not like the garbage steel case Winchester, but the brass case. Because the steel case Winchester, I would never buy. It's trash. Don't buy it. But the brass stuff is pretty good. It's like $270. And a lot of the times they offer free shipping, but you're not really going to find 9mm for cheaper than that anymore. Before the pandemic, if that's what you want to call it still, I think you can get 9mm for, I don't know, 150, 200 bucks a case, something like that. It was stupid cheap. And that's this stuff right here, 10 bucks a box, 10 bucks for 50. So 1,000 rounds of this is roughly $200. But yeah, PSA's come back down to roughly anywhere between $220 to $260 for 1,000 rounds. So now they're 5.56. You can get 5.56 for roughly 50 cents a round, sometimes 45 cents a round. It depends on what kind of bulk ammo you buy. But the reason it only matters if you buy bulk, because once you pay shipping fees and all that, you're gonna add a couple cents a bullet. So that's where it makes sense. And what I like to do is I got some buddies, we'll go in, we'll buy 3,000 to 5,000 rounds at a time, and that way you just pay one shipping cost, call it a day. We'll all go in on a little bit at a time. Yeah, word. That's actually another thing I'll say about this stuff. Seriously, if you haven't checked it out, I know I'm shilling for Norma, even though I've had case ruptures from this company and different guns, but I don't know if it was their fault or the gun's fault. Almost lost a finger. But this stuff is like 60 cents a round, which is pretty impressive for a self-defense ammo. Last time I went to the store, it was 15 bucks for a box of 20. Again, that is the Norma 65 grain fluted projectiles, 9mm, 1,750 feet a second. This stuff is gnarly. It's like 50 to 75 cents a round. So, because I felt the same way when I started doing chicken ballistics and stuff like that. I started shooting hollow points. My God, I think that's one of the reasons I don't shoot my shotgun that much, is because shotgun slugs are about $3 a piece right now, and I do want to do some ballistics tests, just mag dumping some 12 gauge slugs, but that sounds like $30 worth of ammo to me. So there's that. Yeah, I think I bought a box of jacketed hollow point Monarch years ago, and I wasn't paying attention, and I just shot that stuff at the range one day. You haven't shot a shotgun slug yet, huh? It's an awakening, let me tell you. I'm gonna do birdshot, buckshot, slug in my next shotgun video. What's up, Guns Anonymous? How you doing? I'm gonna do a birdshot, buckshot, slug just to do a comparison. It's not just a different feel and recoil, but it's a whole different noise. It's like getting hit in the shoulder with a 10-pound weight, a 20-pound weight, and then a 50-pound weight. It's crazy. So, and usually when I shoot slugs, especially out of an 18-inch barrel, you're gonna see a fireball. Yeah, slugs are just expensive, man. I'm doing great. Loading up my next round of mags. Got a bunch of 9mm stuff I'm trying to do. Thank God that everyone's building something in 9mm, because 9mm is the new 5.56. Remember back when you can get 5.56 for about 30 cents a round? I don't know if we'll ever see that again. Yeah, I bought that JTS MK12, and I think I put about maybe 30 rounds of birdshot through it. Half is what, and I only did that one video, like on one YouTube short with it, because I was honestly just trying to have some fun. Sometimes I go out and I shoot just for the fun of it rather than posting videos. But I had to really dial in that gas system on that thing. Luckily, it's got an adjustable gas system. But once I dialed it into I think it's got gas off and then setting 1, 2, and 3. And I got confused. I thought gas off was setting 3, so there's that. Anywho, I got it on to setting 3, and it finally started working after about 20 rounds, and then I only shot 1 or 2 more mags after that. So, and that's the only time I've ever shot it. And I was really excited to get that shotgun. And I was telling my wife, I said, you know what, if PSA ever has a sale on one of those things again, I'm absolutely gonna scoop one up, because PSA usually has them anywhere between 200 to 250 bucks, which is insane for an AK shotgun. I know there's a lot of cast parts and all that, but it's not a Vepr, that's for sure. You can tell, and it's heavy, but it is an AK shotgun. And that's pretty cool. And I ended up going into the pawn shop one day, and they just so happened to have one. They said it was used, but the thing never got fired. I could tell, like, it didn't even, no one's ever fired. No one even loaded anything into that, you could tell. So not a single mark on the barrel, no debris, nothing. Thing was clean, so. Scooped it up for like 200 bucks out the door. If anything, I scooped it up for less than that because I traded something else for it. So it worked out. I scooped it up for nothing, really. But, you know, all these Turkish shotguns, all these cheap $200 and $300 shotguns, I haven't seen too many tests where people just shoot them to see how long they last or how they compare to, you know, like a $1,000 Benelli, right? And don't get me wrong, I think the Benelli is another phenomenal shotgun. And I can't even say nothing bad about it, especially because they're Italian, I'm Italian. How do you go wrong with that? You don't. Say something, I dare you. Anyways, I didn't even know American Eagle made 9mm. Yeah, no joke. And you know what? Here's one thing I'll say is anything that is going slower than 2,000 feet a second, that's a full metal jacket, is all going to have a very similar wound channel. And I know that's weird and off topic, but there's nothing wrong with an FMJ. I mean, it'll get the job done. Obviously, you want to use hollow points, stuff like that. But hey, 9mm FMJ has been working in the hood for like 50 years now, so they'll work for me. A bullet's a bullet, right? What do you guys think about the 9mm versus 45 versus 10mm versus 357 versus any other handgun round inserted here? What you think about that garbage? I'll tell you what I think. I just want to hear some of your opinions. Another one bites the dust. It is 11 o'clock here. Yeah, I agree. And by the way, 9mm is 100 years old, so in case you was wondering. Over 100 years old at this point, so if you actually consider it. Now 45 is not lagging too far behind as far, no, 45 is pretty old too. It's been around a long time. But it is funny, is there's still the 9mm and 45 bickering back and forth. You got the FUDs of 2 world wars, brother, and all that crap. But 9mm also made it through 2 world wars, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe that's the 1911 thing, I don't know. All I gotta say is, it's been over 100 years, and 9mm and 45 are still being actively used in everything. And they keep trying to replace it with like 5.7 and all these other things. And you know what? What's the new one? 30 Super Carry. Does a little bit less, it has a little bit less kinetic energy, but you can fit like 3 or 4 more rounds per mag or something like that. They're just not going to replace it. I think it's just been around so long. The way technology has improved, you can get some gnarly pills flying down range out of that small little casing. I don't think 9mm is going anywhere anytime soon, unless we come out with freaking laser beams. And then I might go for it. I don't know. Might jump on that bandwagon, give me some freaking laser beams. Sharks not included. Yeah, I got a Taurus TX22 16+1. It's a perfect little plinking gun, and I honestly enjoy shooting that. I think more than the kids. My middle son, he is 6, and he really likes shooting it. He's really deadly with it too. That kid is gnarly for a 6-year-old, but yeah, every once in a while I'll throw my Omega on the end of that thing and go have a blast in the woods. It's got like a 3-inch barrel, so even the CCI Stingers are just subsonic out of the end of that. Get an occasional crack, but that's it. So once I throw the can on the end of that thing, I feel like I'm James Bond. Or do I feel like LowProOperator? I haven't decided. Yeah, I agree. Now there are some oddballs again, like pistol that my dad said he's gonna be giving me. He's a lot older and he lives in New York and he wants to start getting some of his stuff down here. But my dad has that 41 Ruger Blackhawk. 41 Magnum is a super oddball round. It's something that they made for the police back in like the 70s. And if I had to compare it to anything, I'd say it would be 41 Magnum was a step below 44 and a step above 357. It'd be equivalent, or if not a little bit better than like 10mm auto, right? So there's that. And I wouldn't get rid of that. Of course, I'm gonna have a blast with the old cowboy wheel gun, but I agree. 45's cool, and maybe one day I'll get myself an old 45 1911, or I'll probably just wait for my dad to give me his, and it'd be one I pop off every now and again, but it's not something I want to carry. It's not something I plan on buying a bunch of ammo for. there's that old saying that pistols poke holes in people, rifles poke holes through people, and shotguns take a chunk of people and throw them over there, you know? It's a good way to live, I guess. Good thought to live by. Hey, and another one bites the dust. I'm getting there. Weeding World, what's happening, man? Hey, what's funny is I was actually looking for that, I forget what the heck you called it. I remembered it earlier, I looked it up. That piece you told me to get. I looked it up earlier, and I had to go to Lowe's for something, and they said they had one, but they didn't. So, oh well. I'm gonna order one on Amazon so I could do some gaming. You got any games planned tonight or what? Yeah, we got a Best Buy local. I just didn't feel like driving out that far. Mag's a little messed up. Did you win or you have a busted night, huh? Oh, as far as the 22s go, oh, you did bad. As far as the I'm sorry to hear that. As far as the 22s go, they're still the #1 used gun for hits in the world, as far as I know. So, say what you will about 22s. That's one thing I like about the Taurus, and that's why I say I've had people tell me, "Oh, you're gonna do this, piss me off with that." Well, I'm gonna piss you off 16 times. How about that? That's a lot of pissed off. So, do you? You want me to live stream playing the game with what I currently got on? Might just do that. I'm surprised my son didn't come up tonight. See how it is, Jay. Don't love your old man. Hey, I'm about that life, buddy. You do any shooting? Where you from, anyways? I could fit more, but I think we fit enough in here. Know what I mean? There goes another $15, huh? I know you told me you're, Illinois. Land of the can't own none of this, right? You live like in Chirac, or outskirts? Oh yeah. Well, if you ever come down this way, my local gun range rents out machine guns for $15. So, we'll have a good time. Appreciate you stopping in though, man. And you have a good night. I got the speed loader. Come on, get it together. Yes, Chirac. You know, fun fact about Chirac, when I was 17, I was taking an airplane to New York, and we had to do a layover in Chirac, right? And it was the middle of the night, and then my next plane took off, and the landing gear wouldn't go up, and it was pretty cool, and everyone started freaking out, and we just circled around Chicago like, I don't know, 15 times till we could finally get a chance to land. And yeah, we landed, and it was really aggressive, and the front wheel locked up, and we almost crashed and burned, and they made us jump out on the floaty thing that you see them always pop out in the movies. It was pretty cool, not gonna lie. 17, got to experience that. It was like a roller coaster for me. Everyone else was like praying and oh my God. And I was like, yeah. It was a good time. And then I got a free stay in a hotel that night, and it was a really nice 5-star hotel too, so I couldn't really complain. You know, minor inconvenience, but they definitely emptied out the mini fridge before I got in there. That was disappointing, but hey, I had a good time. Yeah, dude. My whole life has been quite the experience, let me tell you. Probably write a pretty nice book about it, but the way my ADD works, someone else would have to write it for me. Before you know it, I'd be... My biography would start looking like the Star Wars series. You'd be getting part 4 first, and then next thing you know, you're getting part 7, and then the next version is going to be part 1. It's just not going to make any sense. Come on. Almost there. These thumbs getting a little tired. You get about 300 or 400 rounds in and start seeing some stuff. I'm gonna have like PTSD. I'm gonna see myself loading mags in my dreams. There we go. I wish I had a better speed loader than this, but I don't want to spend $40 on one that does that. So, to each their own though. Yeah, so nobody answered my question. Weenie World was in here. He does live stream gaming and all that stuff, all kinds of games, but I thought about doing a couple. I'm gonna go get the device I need to be able to do it, but I'm gonna start live streaming some Call of Duty just because it sounded like fun, you know? Gotta operate in all aspects of life. Any of you guys do any gaming? Yes, no. Where's Justin Worst? You never got back to me, buddy. Any of you guys get any of those Schmeiser D60 mags? Hurry up and load these last 3 mags because I'm getting tired. Tell you that for free. I'll say one thing I like about these mags, although they have not proved to be the most reliable, maybe it's a follower design or the crappy polymer, but one thing I like about them is at least you could tell if you tell how many you got in there, and you could tell if you messed up, but pretty dope though. Yeah, dude. So I have the games, but I don't play them a lot. My oldest son still lives in New York. He's 13, and we've been talking about doing some live streams and stuff. I thought it would be really cool. Hey, I missed one. But I'm trying to get the setup to work, and I figured if I'm gonna play, let's live stream together. It'll be fun, right? So what happens for me is, like, I just get busy. So I'll play for like a week, and then I get too busy, and before I know it, 6 months go by, and here we are. And then I get on there, and I do really good for the first 3 matches because they link me up with people that are garbage. And so I get the huge confidence boost, and then they put me into a class that's way above me, and then I'm trash again. Yeah, I did make a Twitch. I streamed on Twitch for a little while, and I played absolutely nothing. I was still trying to figure it out, so all they got to see was a loading screen, basically. And I still had a couple people sit there and watch. It was interesting. But I'm not too tech savvy, so what I need to figure out is like how to stream and have a camera on me. I don't know if I gotta buy one of those little cameras and hook it up to the Xbox or what. Haven't figured that part out yet. All I know is bop, 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 bop. Bop, bop, bop. This is probably A minor. I'm really sick of the companies in America that are anti-American, if you want me to be honest with you. It kind of ticks me off. Like, there is no reason right now on live that I can't showcase guns that I've built or anything like that. It kind of annoys me. My most expensive gun would be my Mosin Nagant currently. And I mean, I might have one more expensive than that, but my Mosin Nagant is a 1932 hex model, and that thing is still pinpoint accurate. Like, you could tell I'm probably the second person to ever fire it. Most people, they get guns like that and they won't fire them at all. I found a freaking unicorn, and the first thing I did was go grab some corrosive Yugoslavian 1970s ammo and start sending rounds down range because gotta use it, right? Yeah, it is definitely a commie rifle. I had a chance to get, I enjoy the World War II guns. I think they're really cool. I had a German MP40 that was converted to semi-auto years ago, but I never fired it, and the thing weighed like 12 pounds. And because it got converted to semi-auto, it to me was bastardized. So yeah, ended up selling that one for a mint. And I was gonna get a Mauser. They had a Mauser at the last gun show I went to, but they wanted like $1,200, and this thing was beat to absolute hell. It's really hard in the surplus world right now. These guys, some of these guys are just asking astronomical prices. Like my hex model Mosin that I have right now, if you look it up on Gunbroker, it goes anywhere between $3 grand to $5 grand. It's absolutely insane. The Dear Communist. Yeah. Now, 7.62 by 54 is still a phenomenal round. But if it shows you how much, because I own 2 Mosins, I've had one since I was like 16. The first one I got was a 1940s garbage model. But no, it's crazy, man. When I got into guns, you could still buy Romanian AKs for $300, and that was in New York. So these are actually a Men 2, okay? These are kind of garbage, I'm not gonna lie, but for $10 a mag, They make great range toys. And you know what? They really don't give me too much problems unless it's warm out. The polymer flexes way too much. The ETS mags, on the other hand, are phenomenal. You can get them in big stick or bigger stick. Or you can get factory 17 rounders, but you can count all those up. This particular mag's been loaded for like 2 years, to the point where some of the ammo's starting to corrode in there. And I've got no issues with the feed lips, no problems there. The spring is still retaining them pretty well, and I'm actually going to do a video of me shooting these off just to kind of show everybody that they're not garbage. But no worries, we still got factory. Got to try them all, you know. Still carry factory 17s with the +2 base plates in there. So, but I agree. Factory Glock mags are probably your best bet. Although I've had some jam up on me before, but not super common. Maybe it was a me problem. Maybe it was the ammo. I don't know. But one of the biggest reasons is price, you know. So, for instance, this Glock factory mag with the extended base plate is like $35 or something like that. This, which holds the same amount of ammo, is like $20. And this is like $22 or $23. Really thick polymer, so. And they have lifetime warranty, in case you're wondering. So. And they look really cool at the bottom of some of my AR9s. And I've never been much of a drum fan, so again, these go for roughly $25 or so, and the drum mag only holds 5 or 10 rounds more than this stick, and they go for like $70 or $80, if not more. It indeed takes Glock mags. I've got a couple different AR9 configurations. I've also got a Kel-Tec Sub 2000. It takes Glock mags, anything 17 or up or 19 or up. I'd have to see because I don't have a lot of Glock 19 mags. So I got my Kel-Tec Sub 2000. I've got a PSA lower. It's a dedicated lower that takes Glock mags. And then I've got a mag block adapter for Glock, as well as a mag block adapter for Colt mags or Uzi mags. So I just like options, you know? Yes, sir. Appreciate it, man. It depends on the drums you get. So if you get like the KCI drums, they're gonna jam. And drum mags are big and bulky and just hard to carry. So like they make a drum mag. I don't have the mag on me, show you right now. I had a couple of drums for my ARs back in the day, but I've got a Schmeiser 60 round quad stack mag, and I don't know what I did with that thing. I might have to go grab it in a sec just to show you guys. It's really thick, but I can still fit it in a mag carrier, and that's all that matters. I do have Glocks. I've got a Glock 19 clone from Palmetto State Armory. It's called the Dagger. Looks just like a Glock 19, takes Glock 19 parts, but it's PSA's own version, and it's priced accordingly at only about $300. And I've got a factory Glock 17 Gen 3. That's what I've been carrying for the past couple of years. It's got no modifications other than the mag release is extended. But yeah, I don't actually like that. I'm going to change that. I put an extended mag release in there out of a P80 build and just swapped them, and then I regretted it because what happens now is sometimes I go to take it out of my holster and that mag release hits my side and my mag pops out. So I don't like that. Go to bed. Bro, I'm just getting started. My bedtime's like 2 a.m., so I'll go to bed eventually. Not done yet. Although now that you said that, I'm gonna yawn again. You know how to get more sleep, right? You just sleep faster, of course. As far as the AR, what'd you say here? Annalicia, am I saying that right? Just stick, oh no, Dark Knight Animations. You said you stick with PMags. Yeah, when it comes to AR mags, I wish I would have grabbed my other container. I got all kinds of AR mags. I've got factory, like GI aluminum mags, GI steel mags, PMags. I've got a couple of PSA's version of the PMag that they branded. And then I've got some of the KCI clear mags. And then of course I've got the Schmeiser 60 rounders. And they do okay. You can't drop the 60 rounds. So if you drop a PMag or a Glock mag and it's got a couple rounds left in it, it's gonna hit the ground, but it'll be okay. Those Schmeiser 60 rounders, if you drop them on the ground, all those, it just jams up so bad, you might as well toss it. Yeah, I haven't had any issues, although it looks really goofy when I shove a 40 rounder or a drum in the bottom of a handgun. But I hate that I can't show you on live, because right on the other side of the camera, I've got a bunch of really cool things that I'd like to show you guys. But is what it is. Don't want to get the boot, you know? But yeah, I haven't had any issues. I don't typically carry a handgun with extendos. It's just weird to me. The whole purpose to me, I mean, we're a open carry state, but I'd rather not open carry a handgun, because that's a good way to that's a good way for someone to take advantage of you. I've seen people get shot and killed because they just walk around with their handgun on their side. So I'd rather appendix carry or carry in my waistband. I don't want people to know I have it, you know? That's just my 2 cents. Now, when it comes to a rifle or a shotgun, I carry one of those right in the front seat of my car. I don't care. I carry an AR with me all the time. Usually I carry my 7.5-inch 300 blackout. In some cases, I'll carry my 7.5-inch AR9 or even my 10-inch AR 300 blackout. So I live in South Carolina. What kind of drum do you got for the AR? You live in Michigan? See, I don't know. Michigan, is that one of the nutty gun states too? I know all about like Chicago, and I lived in New York, so New York is pretty communist. I'm just not a huge communism fan, you know. In theory, on paper, sounds great, but in practice, it's dookie booty. New Mexico, they have pretty lenient laws, right? So I hear. All right, I'm gonna load up a few more mags and then I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna have to end this party. Say Michigan, decent as in like they're lenient, or decent as in they have a lot? Yeah, so what's funny is when I left New York years ago, what the heck, Governor Cuomo, his name was Andrew Cuomo, was the governor up there, and then he got into some scandal a few years back, so they gave him the boot, he got impeached, and then Kathy Hochul just kind of took over. And the messed up thing about New York is New York's actually a red state, by the way. Everyone's gonna say I'm wrong. New York is a very red state. The only reason New York goes blue is because of Buffalo and New York City. Those two districts absolutely speak for the entire rest of New York, and that to me is garbage. But most New Yorkers don't agree with all the nonsense that they have there. Florida, so Florida does have gun laws. So one thing that's interesting to me, I still think there's still some crazy cops, no matter where you go, that absolutely love taking people's rights away. And I think in some cases, Florida's kind of like that. Not always. But Florida, one law that's weird to me is like, if you're going fishing, you can open carry. But if you open carry on any regular day, you can go to jail and catch a felony. And that kind of annoys me. Just one of those laws that just doesn't make sense to me, but okay. And that's one thing that got me here is this place at South Carolina is super lenient when it comes to that stuff. Anytime I go to like a paid shooting event or something like that, half of the people there are either retired or current law enforcement, military, and you know, it's more of a citizens unite thing in the South, you know. I've met like my nephew's a police officer, or he's becoming a sheriff, and he even said that he basically joined because he wanted to be the change because he can't stand cops. So the only way to make it better is to become one. And had me rethinking it myself, actually. But okay. Yeah, I agree. So I actually went to the CWP class and all that here, and then right after I went to the class, they passed constitutional carry in our state anyways, and I could have went forward with it and still got the CWP because it makes background checks easier, and it also would have allowed me to carry in a couple other states. Who was dangerous? What'd I miss? But yeah, I should have still got my CWP, but I had this thing about like my fingerprints being in the system, and then I went and bought a suppressor, so my fingerprints are in the system. So, because you have like 2 years after you take the class. Oh yeah, I got you. Okay, I had to go back and read. And I might just get that because there are plenty of times I travel out of state, and I'm so used to carrying, I know it sounds crazy, but I'm so used to having an AR sitting in my passenger seat everywhere I go, and I'm used to always having a pistol on my waistband. So when I go to other states where that stuff's not allowed, I'm not paranoid. It's not like I'm always thinking I'm in danger or something. It's just like something's missing. It is crazy though. I need medicinal hand grenades. Nice. You and me both, buddy. Okay. Well, I haven't ran out of ammo, but I have ran out of magazines because they're all full. let's see how many we loaded. 1 nipple, 2 nipples, for my depression. I have a feeling if you get your hand on a grenade, you're going to create a depression in the ground. See, it depends on what 50 BMG you shoot. Because if you shoot like a bolt action 50 BMG, that's pretty rough. If you shoot a really heavy bolt action 50 BMG, it's still pretty rough. But if you shoot like a Barrett or something, it's still pretty rough, just not as rough. Rough, just the way your mother likes it, Trebek. So yeah, that's one thing I'll say about a Men 2, is their mags look cool. I wish I could show it in the side of a PDW, but I can't. But yeah, let's see what we got loaded up here. About 600 rounds. So I will disagree with you on the extended mags thing. So if you just plan on shooting handguns, then yeah, stay away from the extended mags. Because one, I think they look absurd, and it's always the guy with like the Glock 26 pocket pistol that's got one of these hanging out the bottom. It's just like, go get a full-size gun at that point. But I have a lot of PDWs, AR9s, stuff like that. But that's why I have so many extendos, because it makes sense. But if you're just shooting a handgun, then yeah, that's retarded. Don't do that. Glock 20 pocket pistol. Word. And you know, I've heard a lot of horror stories about extended mags. The Amend 2, I'm not gonna shill for them at all, but I'll definitely shill for ETS. I might have called it KCI earlier because I do have some KCI mags here. I'm gonna shill for them. They don't pay me, I'm not sponsored, but I wish they would, because they make a great product. And for everyone that's gonna hit up the comments and, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Dude, I've got thousands and thousands and thousands of rounds through all of my guns. And I've never had a single ETS give me a problem. And for the ones that do have problems, like, I wanna see why. I wanna see what caused it. What'd you do? Did you spit in it before you loaded it? Because if you didn't, that's your problem. You always got to add a little, you know? As far as KCI mags, here's 2 KCI mags right there. Haven't had any issues with them. Glock mags, haven't had any issue. I think I had 1 issue with the Glock mag once. But you get a little bit of polymer and stuff, like from new mags on the inside. You put a couple 100 rounds through it, the mags open right up, you'll be fine. Who's got dreads? See, I agree. When you get like, now hear me out, Dark Knight. I bought, with my own money on my own accord, I bought the chassis system for the Glock 17 from, what the heck is the name of that company? It's got the sidey foldy and, you know, and it's cool, but that little thing digs into your shoulder so hard. And I kind of agree. let a pistol be a pistol, and if you really want a PDW or something like that, no, it wasn't the Roni, it was the Recover Tactical 2020 stabilizing brace. And that's really all it's good for is a brace, because even if you wanted to SBR it and get the stock version, which they do offer, with your face on it and holding it, your eyes are this far above the sights. Like, you have to get real uncomfortable to shoot that thing. And if you have a red dot, it's fine. But keep in mind, I've shot those, I've used them. They're really cool for what they are, especially for smaller people. I've got no recoil. I'm a big guy. I'm strong enough. I've learned how to mitigate the harsh recoil of that deadly 9mm. So it's not a problem. And I feel like those braces and all that are cool for smaller people, in my opinion, to each their own. If you want a good PDW, go get yourself a Masterpiece Arms. I forget the exact model that it is, but the Defender 9T or something like that, it's got like a 3 or 4 inch barrel. It's about the same size as a Glock 19 or a Glock 17. It's direct blowback internal. It's got a rail on top. It's side folder ready, whether you want to do a stock or, yes, be one with the recoil. If you just go limp and you just be one with the recoil, you never really experienced it because you are the recoil. See what I mean? Thank you, Daniel-san. So, if you really want a good PDW, seriously, get yourself like a Masterpiece Arms. Go, they can be had for $600 or less. You can, and that's the ones that take Glock mags, or you can get the ones that take the Sten mags for like $450, brand new. So, of course, I'd prefer Glock mags, not because Glock is almightier than everybody. So shut up with that. It's because I have so many Glock mags, and I don't want to go. I think that's the biggest reason I buy guns that take Glock mags, is because I have so many Glock mags. I just don't want to go out and buy more mags. It's not what I want to do. But yes, Tevin, let a pistol be a pistol. There is another kit, like a PDW drop-in kit that I seen. Recover Tactical makes it too, and it's like the Glock AR kit. You put the Glock in it. Here's the Glock, and now your pistol grip's back here, and it's basically an AR-9, and it's cool if you want to have a carbine out of your Glock without buying another gun. But now you're buying a $300 kit to go around your $650 pistol. So, and you still got the tilt. Though, in my humble opinion, if you want a good PDW, you want something that you could throw a can on the end without having to have a booster and all this crazy junk. You want something that's just going to be reliable no matter what you do. And if there's anything I can tell you about any handgun, is they're not 100% reliable when it comes to suppressing them. Even with a booster, like some Glocks won't run without a lighter recoil spring. So I got a lighter recoil spring just for when I want to shoot mine suppressed, because I plan on getting a booster. So, tactical, that's right. 120mm smoothbore cannon for home. Listen, toss in some grape shot in that thing, and Second Amendment your way home. Or you know, do your thing, go back to bed. You don't even got to call the cops after, because there's nothing for them to collect. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. See, I am a fan of PDWs. I've always been a shill for 9mm and anything that shoots it personally. It's just everywhere. It's not going nowhere. It's very effective. It's very fun to shoot. And I grew up playing 007, and I remember all the fun submachine guns on there. And I guess when I was a gamer back in the day, I would watch all these people like have submachine guns that were this big that had 73 attachments on it, and they're running around and they're like sliding and then slide cancel, and then they just defy all logic and physical possibilities and just want it and wreck me, and I'd be upset. So yeah, yeah, Call of Duty ruined my life for a while there, bastards. Anywho, But yeah, I like the 120 millimeter smooth bore home defense cannon. That's a good one. Dark Knight get you a gauge. Hey, listen, I would show you my home defense gun. Of all the things I have, I think my hardest decision, if there was a bump in the night, someone coming in my front door, first off, they'd have to make it through 8 locks and 4-inch lag bolts. But if they were to try coming in my front door, my little gun wall is like directly to the side of my bed, so I would just kind of gawk at it like, which one do I pick? Because I've got suppressed 300 blackout, I've got my AR9 suppressed, but if I have to pick something that's gonna, if I have to pick one thing I agreed with Joe Biden on, it would be the shotgun theory. Go grab my JTS AK-12. I've got it loaded up with, what the heck is it? It's like these slugs that got 3 buckshot pellets behind it. Things are gnarly. That's my home defense go-to. 12 gauge shotgun. I'm waiting for a 20 round drum to be available again on PSA's website so I can scoop one up. But currently I'm running 10 and 12 round stick mags. But 300 blackout would definitely get the job done. I wouldn't recommend subsonic though. I'll actually show you what I'd recommend if you're going to use 300 blackout. Un momento, por favor. Oh God. If you guys can only see what's around me right now. Okay. Here's my other mag carrier. If you're going to rock 300 blackout, get yourself a can and rock that right there. That is the 110 grain VMAX, and even out of my 7.5 inch barrel, they're doing about 2,100 feet a second. Pretty good stuff. Of course, in the old 40 rounder that holds 28 rounds. But that is a gnarly round. Check out my chicken ballistics video with 300 blackout, shooting that out of a 7.5 inch. Stuff is sick. That same chicken that I was shooting at, I was shooting 220 grain subsonic hollow points, and they were just hole punches. The hollow point, it just never expanded. You'd have to spend some good coin to get really good performing subsonic ammo. And so although subsonic 300 blackout's really fun to shoot and it's really accurate at distance, it's not ideal for it's ideal for max penetration, but it's not ideal for it's not as ballistically efficient. In my opinion, when it comes to home defense or defense in general, you want something that's gonna dump all of that kinetic energy ASAP. So in theory, on paper, I think the 220 grain subsonic 300 blackout's gonna have around between 500 and 800 foot-pounds of energy. Sounds great. Sounds like it's got way more energy than a 9mm, except all of that energy is poking right out the other side of your target, so you're not really dumping any energy. Whereas if you hit something like this 9mm right here, I'm not lying when I say this, this has over 400 foot-pounds of kinetic energy, and it's gonna dump all of that energy in the target, or most of it. You know, that's another thing people get wrapped up in this, what round has the most. That's why people like 45 ACP and 10mm. Oh, it's got more kinetic energy dump. Well, there's 2 factors you got to look at with kinetic energy, and there's some other factors and variables you got to look at. So, you know, if you've got something that produces 10,000 foot-pounds of energy, but it's poking a hole straight through the target and that bullet's not expanding, 90% of that energy is going out the other side. So all that extra energy and recoil doesn't matter. You got, you know, again, a projectile like this or a hollow point. They're designed to open up and use a maximum amount of that kinetic energy and try to stop the bullet within the target as soon as possible. So that's how you can get maximum damage with a bullet that's not the best supersonic bullet. Whereas that's another thing, another variable that y'all gotta look at. So, you know, what's kinetic energy? It's gonna be some 6-digit number that I don't remember times mass divided by velocity or something like that. So it's a variable of velocity and mass, right? So that's why a 55 grain 5.56 is going to have around what, 1,200 to 1,300 foot-pounds of energy out of a 16-inch barrel, or maybe even a 20-inch barrel. And it's only a 55 grain bullet. And then you've got a 300 black, or say a AK 7.62 by 39. It's going about 2,400 feet per second, so significantly slower, but the bullet weighs a lot more. So it's going to produce very similar kinetic energy. But the wound is going to look different from an AK to a 5.56, like a 7.62 to a 5.56. Reason being is velocity produces a different energy curve than mass. So they're both very important. And I don't mean to bore everybody, so I hope you're finding it interesting. But 12 gauge buckshot. There you go. There you go. 12 gauge buckshot, and then you got slugs. Yep. So 12 gauge buckshot, I've never heard of anybody surviving one of those. And it's absolutely gnarly. It's devastating. I carry a mixture of slugs and buckshot for my home defense in my 12 gauge. But my point is, it's only going, what, like 1,500, 1,600 feet per second. But you have a massive amount of lead. You have about 9 or even 12 pellets that are going to be, each pellet is going to be about the same size as a 9mm bullet, maybe a hair smaller. But you got 9 of them. So even though it's one round, even though it's going about the same speed as your typical 9mm and significantly slower than like a rifle round, you're going to produce more kinetic energy, and whatever you hit is going to experience more of that because it's a bunch of small balls spread out. They're going to stop within the target for the most part. So velocity is always going to be more lethal than mass. But if you got a fat, slow round, you want to have the fattest of fat, slow rounds. So now you know, 12 gauge shotgun. Because if it's going to be lower than 3,000 feet per second, make sure you got a lot of it. And I have not met anybody that survived a slug. And if I'm just blabbering, tell me to shut up, I don't know. So, any other things in the news that I don't be knowing about? Anti-tank mine, there you go. Oh, listen. What I like about anti-tank mines is you don't even have to be accurate. That's a self-defense vicinity, you know what I mean? Yeah, you know, I do hear that a lot too. People talk about drywall and what's going to go through the wall and this is going to happen, and my God, it is midnight. But if you've watched anything or know anything, I guarantee you, even a 9mm hollow point, if I were to shoot through my front door, it's going through my front door and out my back wall and probably going to hit the neighbor's house. And that's with a hollow point. If you shoot any rifle round, including subsonic 300 blackout or supersonic 300 blackout, like the 110 VMAX that absolutely grenades, the base of that is probably still going to go through my drywall on the other side. 12 gauge shotgun. If you're really worried about anything going past your target and through anything, your best bet is birdshot. And honestly, birdshot makes a great home defense round. The longest path in my house, I'm looking right now, is maybe 12 yards. Within 12 yards, out of an 18-inch shotgun, even without a choke, birdshot's going to spread about that much. So, anywhere in here, that's lights out. And the birdshot typically isn't going to, even if it does make it through your wall, it's not really, you're going to pepper someone and it's going to sting. That's about it. But pretty much any gun you use in a home defense scenario, the biggest thing to keep in mind is what's behind what you're shooting at. So, and that is why it's so important to be tactical. When you come home, especially if you're a gun person, but you don't get a chance to do a lot of shooting, you need to learn your corners. You need to go through your house. You need to be a child for a little while because you could actually gain some life experience out of it. You know, clear your own house, figure out your lanes, figure out, okay, if I'm right here and I'm shooting there, where's the bullet gonna go if I miss? Where's my neighbor's? In an apartment complex, it matters much, much more because, let's be real, in an apartment complex, the collateral damage is just, the potential is crazy. Prepared father, what's up, dude? Yeah, I agree with you. If any of you have ever been in any crazy situation, I don't want to go into full detail about some of the situations I've been in, but, and no, I haven't seen war or anything, but I've seen some stuff, I've been shot at, and I've had to do things. So you can prepare as much as you want for any scenario, and in your head, you've got that David Goggins mentality, and you're like, yeah, who's gonna lift the boats and I would do this. And you know, you ever like go to a party and you talk to that person who's always got the answer for everything, and they're, yup, and then if they did that, I'd do this, and I'd do this, and they have no idea what they're talking about. Thank you, Omar. But, and me, I've been that guy where I always had this plan, this grand plan, and I would do this in this situation, I would do this, and all of that for the most part goes out the window. Now, if you train hard, what you know and all that, when it comes to what they call muscle memory, that's different. But when it comes to mentally, let me tell you what happens when you get into a situation. Someone actually kicks in your door or does anything like that, you can't even control the adrenaline. You have to learn how to breathe. Your heart's pumping so quick that you start getting lightheaded and almost to the point where you hyperventilate. You have to jump into action. And one of two things are going to happen. Either you're going to be that person that does jump into action, or you're going to be that person that freezes. And I've had different situations in life where I've done both, where I freeze for a second when I was younger, and I'm like, what do? You almost forget to breathe because something catches you off guard. And then I've been in situations where you've got split seconds to react, and you've just got to push yourself to react. That's what's going to happen in a real world scenario. So everyone, I read a comment a second ago about I would do this, I would do that. Everyone's got, you know, Mike Tyson always said, everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. So that's why, you know, looking at SEAL teams or special forces or police, they always have backup plans, contingency plans, because you can never expect a plan to work. So, and yeah, keep that in mind. Your brain's immediately going to go into fight or flight. So I don't know why we got on that topic, but it's true. I was in a situation a few years ago where everybody was frozen and nobody knew what to do because it was a new situation, and split second, I had to decide, am I going to sit here frozen or am I going to move? And I'm glad I moved. So, and I'll give you guys some, not to be all goose for a ba, but I'll give you guys some breathing tactics here. So something they teach police officers is breathe in for 5 seconds, hold it for a couple seconds, and then breathe out for 5 seconds. And it actually, because once your adrenaline starts pumping, you get into a crazy situation, your blood pressure is gonna go up so crazy, you're gonna feel your heart beat in the arteries in your neck. Your eyes are just gonna be locked on whatever you're looking at. It's crazy to be put in that situation. So those are things you gotta keep in mind, you know? That's all it comes down to, and that's why sometimes you see videos of like people that overreact and they, you know, do the wrong thing sometimes, or we always see the worst of the worst cop videos, right? Where you see a cop immediately pull something out, handle some business, and then deal with the repercussions after. And now there's lots of different situations they might do that. Maybe they were trained some type of way or whatever, I don't know. But a lot of it comes down to just that thought process and how some people handle it. I've seen some people in those situations that have been in those situations are super calm-headed, calm and collected, and they can handle it just fine. And then you get people that break down. You know, you ever watch those war movies and you just see a guy in a foxhole, like eyes locked, and he's just doing that's real. That's how some people react to some, you know, stressful situations. Some people just aren't meant for that stuff, So as much as, you know, we're training with our gear and all that, one of the biggest things you gotta train is this right here, because you have to be mentally prepared for a lot of the things you're gonna go through in life. You gotta be able to switch it off sometimes. So yeah, as crazy as it sounds, because I've never been the less lethal guy, but if you live in an apartment complex and you're kind of in the middle of it and you don't know where that bullet's going or whatever you're using, that might be a situation where maybe get your hands on some less than lethal, maybe some beanbag rounds or something, because you can get beanbag rounds for a 12 gauge. The good news is if you miss with a beanbag round, it's not going to go through your wall and take out your neighbor's dog or kid or something like that. And beanbag rounds suck to get hit with, and people have been killed by getting hit with beanbags, so they still hit. Yeah, dude, first time a situation like that happened in my life, it was one of them situations where, like, I had to have a talk with myself after, and like, is it real life, you know? It's crazy. And then, you know, I hate to say it, but you have a second or third encounter, and you learn how to handle it a lot better after that. You start getting that life experience, you know? It's kind of like people that go overseas and all that. They go over fresh and they're scared, and then the second, third, and fourth time they're signing up to go because they're so used to it. You know, really, they have these, it's like a little paintball pistol that takes an 8-round mag, and they have those pepper balls in them. And now, I don't know how you feel about filling up your own apartment with pepper balls. That part would suck, but I guess what it comes down to is the biggest thing in any self-defense scenario isn't ending people as a whole, it's ending the threat by whatever means necessary. And in a lot of cases, you know, like you said, with experience comes wisdom. Ending the threat doesn't always mean putting the threat down. There's lots of ways to handle this stuff, so, because that's the last thing I want to do. But sometimes it comes down to that. The majority of the reason I do this is for fun. I really enjoy it. It's really fun. I love machine guns, especially. I love renting them anytime I get a chance to. I'm a rapid fire guy. I just like to have a good time. But in reality, this is very important stuff to know, and I do take it seriously. And anybody I shoot with, I tell them you need to take it seriously, because it's all fun and games at the range. It's all fun and games now. We're doing it because we want to be cool operators and be like our Call of Duty characters, but this stuff might be usable one day. The world we live in today, I mean, I've met a lot of sheltered people who haven't experienced life for what it truly is, and then you I grew up in New York, so like this was life, you know. But some people don't live that life. You know, most people, 70 to 90% of people are sheltered. They see guns. Like when I first moved to South Carolina, I moved to Greenville, and I lived next to a bunch of liberal people, and they saw me with a gun one day, and he was just, oh my word, what do you even need a gun for? Like, and that's a dude in the South, so if that tells you anything. Bro, are you a super spy? My God. Holy moly, dude. No, so the first time I ever got shot at was over the dumbest thing ever. And we were underage drinking, you know. I was like 14 or 15, and we had a couple people in the car. I wasn't driving, I was in the back seat chilling. It's like 2 or 3 in the morning, and we're going through a bad part of the neighborhood, and there's a guy walking a pit bull, and I remember my sister's boyfriend was like, hey man, nice dog. And I don't know why, but he took super offense, and he told us to watch our mouth, and he flipped us off or whatever. And so my sister's boyfriend was like, yeah, whatever, you too. And dude just pulled out a piece and started shooting, and there was sparks off the power lines in front of us and everything. And I remember my sister's like, oh look, someone's lighting fireworks. I said, girl, that's not fireworks. But it's crazy, man. Started at a young age, but you know, that's the truth. There are a lot of people out here that have no regard for life, and they will end you over anything. So you gotta be careful with that, man. Sorry to hear that, man. You gotta be careful with them people out there. Can't just meet up with anybody, man. I bet you were tight when that happened too. Dude, it's kind of interesting looking back at life, you know, now. I'm in my 30s, but looking at all the stupid stuff I did and all the terrible situations I was in, like it made us who we are, but there's so many times I'm like, wow, I really shouldn't be here. Because of all the dumb encounters I've been in and the stupid people I've messed with, you know? Really crazy. Hey, but we here though. But we here. All right, I'm gonna be hopping off here in a minute. It's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. I made a little list of some of the things I wanted to talk about, and then I talked about one of the things, and it was the gear that I am currently wearing. Oh, no, that's not true. We talked about some of the gaming videos I'm planning in the future, so y'all stay tuned for that. Gonna do some live stream Call of Duty. I'm not a very tech savvy guy, so I've been trying to figure out how to do it, but I got it figured out. Hey, listen, the fact that you still here, man, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. That mag doesn't belong there. That belongs in the piece. Okay. Glad you're still here, man. Stick it out. It was a pleasure talking to you, everybody. Sayonara. Good night. Guten Tag. To Hungarize. Whatever language you speak. Good night. Tevin, it was nice talking to you. I'm gonna go to bed. Y'all stay tuned for some more things I got coming up. Love you guys. Appreciate you.